Legacy is an impact made on you. It inspires you to become a better version of who you are. It makes an impact either positive or negative. And I learned a valuable lesson when I was a high school football coach. What I did today would affect my tomorrow and my future. However, when you are building something, you will not see it as a fully formed or finished project until it meets its completion. Now, until this point, you may not have recognized that you have the opportunity to make an impact on human history in historic fashion. It's what I call placing a demand on history, which is doing the work with excellence no matter what the outcome is, which the outcome is almost always outside of your control. What is within your control, directly in your control, and that you are responsible for, is my process called Focus on What You Can Affect. Placing a demand on history means walking out your purpose, doing the work in such a manner that who you are and what you've done becomes undeniable. In essence, it's your legacy. And legacy is the long game. It's built daily by execution, not by perfection. That's what we're talking about today on Man vs. Marriage, the podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Man vs. Marriage. It is I, your humble servant, the Q-Dog, a.k.a. Quincy Moran. I guess I should say it the other way, which is Quincy Moran, a.k.a. the Q-Dog. But you get it. You got it. Good. Today, I want to talk to you about legacy and why it's the long game. And like I told you in the opening monologue, it's built by daily execution. It's not built by perfection. As a matter of fact, it's built by the standard I call excellence, because excellence is actually attainable. And I'm going to tell you this too. This is something that came to me earlier this year as I'm working very hard on this legacy project called Family Famous. Your legacy is either being built by passivity or it's being built on purpose. It's either being built by excuses or it's being built by execution. The thing about legacy to me that's so amazing is that it's going to outlive you and your time on this earth. It's going to outlive your presence, your existence on this earth in a physical form. How do I know that? Because my grandpa and my grandma, my granny, my papa, my dear friend DJ 404, my Aunt Linda, and so on. Those people that had a major impact in my life, once they passed away, they were not gone. They remain. Their impact on me became a major influence in how I live my life. The one that really was the catalyst that helped me bring it all together was the passing away of my grandpa in 2020. After he passed away, some very interesting things took place. I was very saddened. Although for years, because of a sickness, he had been living on house money. Like he was living every day for us is a blessing, but truly for Grandpa, every day was plus money. And when he passed, it was very sudden. He was 90 years old, so he had a good long life. He had hordes of grandchildren. Uh, he had grandchildren and hordes of great grandchildren. Let me say that. And, myself and my cousin Noah made up for 18 of those great grandchildren. So that is awesome. The thing is that to me, it's becoming more and more obvious that it's impossible to truly appreciate the legacy of someone who's alive in your life. So we should seek to, myself included, this is me preaching to the choir, but we should seek to honor and love the people intentionally that are still here. But that impact that you make far after you're gone truly matters. At least it matters to me. And why is that? Because I know the power of those that have gone before us. I know the power that my grandpa's life had on my life, what it looked like for him to be a husband and a father and a grandpa, a mentor to me. And he stepped in doing those things until my dad was able to figure it out, because my parents got divorced when I was 5 years old. So as time went along, my dad got his feet under him. He gave his life to Jesus Christ, and his life changed dramatically. And now he is creating his own legacy, one that is very, very respectable, one that is dedicated, and one that I deeply admire. As a matter of fact, my dad's transformation in Jesus Christ is one of the most impactful transformations I've ever seen, because I knew him before and I knew him after. Your legacy, your approach to life and legacy is being watched, whether you know this or not. The things that you do or the things you do not do, your family is watching you. That's why I'm telling you that whether you're living your life on purpose and you're building your life with your legacy in mind, you are building your legacy either way, because it is being built by passivity or by purpose. So what does that mean for you? It means this. There came a time in my life when I was not happy with the man that I was. I wanted to be a great husband. I wanted to be a great father, but I was out chasing validation in other areas. It's no secret if you're a longtime listener to the program. When I discovered a couple things, when I discovered that what made me, what filled me full of I actually matter in this life, is that my family needed me. My family wanted my time. My family, my wife and my kids already believed that I mattered. I did not. And it came to the point where I had to have like a look in the mirror. And then I began, like, this particular process began when we were doing something called Living Life by Design. And that was my first taste of like self-development. I didn't realize that it was possible to be somebody different than I was. It's likely that you found this podcast because you might not be the man that you thought you were going to be, or your priorities are out of line. But if you're anything like me, you want to live that life. You're just not sure why you're not showing up in your life every day. So one of my commitments is to legacy. And it's not about me getting the self-adulation that I think I deserve. The reality is I want, my heart's desire, not even that I want, my heart's desire is to honor the gifts that God has given me, being my family. And then it's to lead them in such a way that it would be a positive impact on their life. Even when they're not happy with me or happy with my opinion, when they don't understand why I have to hold the line where I do, when they don't understand what my value system is, but I live it anyway, in spite of the circumstances going on in life. I want to honor my family in such a way that I can be that lighthouse that they come looking for, that true north they come looking for when the storms of life happen, because, like you know already, they always happen. It's a part of the human experience. So, the legacy that I'm looking to leave is what God has called me to do and to be as I honor my family on this earth. And my grandfather did that. My grandfather had that effect on my life, his leadership. My grandma, my granny, my papa, as I referred to earlier, they gave me a picture of what stability at the head of the family can look like. They gave me a picture. They gave me that true north to show me what it looked like for a couple to stick it out through thick and through thin, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. They showed that to me. And me being a product of a broken home, I needed that example. And I'm so thankful that they were that example for me. Now I am walking out that example for my family. When they think of integrity, I want to live my life in such a way that they say, my dad had integrity. This is how he lived his life. He did what he said he was going to do. He meant what he said, and he said what he meant, even if it was not popular. Guys, I've really gotten off script here, but things sort of led me in a different way, and I did not want to start over. I wanted to follow that particular vein. It's difficult at times, and I promise you, maybe you've just started this journey and you've made a few changes and it's been a week. Maybe it's been a couple days. Maybe it's been a week. Maybe it's been a few weeks. Maybe it's been 6 months. And your wife is not coming around. She's just not coming around to the fact that you are this new man that you said you would be. That's where legacy being the long game comes into play. That is what I'm working hard to emphasize here for you. Is you must be willing to do the work without any external affirmations. You must be committed to the process. The momentum that you are making is invisible in the beginning, but you can stand and you can move forward and you can continue to rely on the process. What if she never comes around? What if your relationship ends in divorce? I left it silent for a minute because for some of you, that might be the reality. But does that mean you should not continue to invest in the new man you are becoming, because your children will need you? They will need you as an example as you walk through this season of life, as you walk through this fire, and you come out healthy and stronger on the other side. The thing is, though, is what if this works? What if you are a guy like me that made a bunch of promises and didn't follow through? So your wife has reason not to trust you and believe you. What that likely means is deep on the inside, you don't trust you either. And so we need to learn how to build what I call internal credibility. We need to learn how to build that trust within before we ask our loved ones to trust us. but you must have a vision of what it is you are building. You must have a vision of what it is you are becoming. And that is where the legacy comes in. And I'm telling you that even though you don't see what it's becoming right now, continue to do the work. It is the long game. And here's something that I really want to encourage you on. And this, for me, is where transformation was the game changer. It was in Jesus Christ. And I don't say that lightly, because what for me what started as disciplines, which to me is good, because even Jesus had disciples. They were disciplined ones. But the power of transformation comes when he works inside of you through those disciplines to make you someone new, and it's completely possible. How do you know when that change begins to happen? Because you are doing the right thing when no one is looking. That is the level of integrity. I myself said, I want to do what I do like there's a camera crew following me. I want to have that kind of integrity. I wasn't a bad guy before. I just had issues with being emotional, being selfish, being thick-headed. And I was out chasing validation outside of my home, when in reality, the only validation I truly needed was that my wife wanted me around to be a part of our family. My children wanted me to be around. They wanted me where I mattered most, and that was at home. So I'm asking you that if you find yourself, maybe you haven't even taken the step yet. You're still on the fence. Get off the fence. Today's the day. Right now is the moment. Make the choice that who you are is not who you have to be. And let's get you on the path to becoming. Let's get you on the path to building your legacy on purpose. Why is that? Because when I leave this earth and my children think of me, I want them to know how deeply I loved them and how honored I am and was to be their father. And the hard decisions I make, the lines I held, the values I lived in front of them will be my legacy to them. And this might not be a popular belief, and that's okay by me. But you also represent a picture of who God is to your family. I'm not saying your family is worshiping you and your God, but you are the father of your family. And the Bible refers to God as our heavenly Father. So I encourage you to think about the legacy that you're leading. Why did you click on this podcast? Why did you click on this podcast? Why did you come searching for a podcast about marriage, about life, and about becoming a better man? And it's time to let the excuses go and start executing. But you can't do that without a picture of who you want to be. Have you heard of the word congruency? I know it's a fancy word. I hadn't heard of it until I got into the self-development space. But congruency is simply this. It's like what you say lines up with what you do. And is my expectation perfection? No, we're human. The expectation is that you do it with excellence, because excellence is achievable. There is still room to fail. We just don't fail on purpose and then make excuses. We continue to improve ourselves. Having that congruency, building internal credibility, helps reorganize the state of the union within you, or what I call internal governance, so that you are moving with integrity, with honesty, with dependability, but you are letting that lead be love in your life, love for your family. So it's important for me to ask you to ask yourself, is your legacy being built by passivity or is it being built on purpose? Are you a man that you can trust? Are you a man that looks at yourself and says, I am dependable because I show up? What is the gauge of your internal credibility? Are you executing this vision in your life or are you making excuses on why it's not happening? And the other part of it, that is this. Are you placing a demand on history so that the story that's told about you by your loved ones is one that aligns with who you are and what your values are? So that as you live this life, you are an example for your family. That's my question for you this week, or questions. It's plural. I'm asking you to evaluate where you are and compare it with who you want to be. And if you need to make changes, I was just like you. Heck, I still have changes that I'm working on right now, areas to grow in. So I can relate to you. I can relate to where you are. What's the next move for you? And what can I do to help you? That's what this podcast is about. The things that I'm talking to you about here, if you're new to this program, I'm going to wrap this up really quickly. But the things that I'm talking to you about on this program come from a place of testimony. There's great books out there. There are great books out there. But this is coming from a place of testimony. Is my marriage perfect? In a sense, no. But does it have the perfect framework? Yes. Because it's built on love. It's built on forgiveness. It's built through being intentional. And that is perfect. That's the perfect framework to have an excellent, excellent marriage. Do I have the perfect family? Do my kids make all the perfect choices? No, they don't. But I don't expect them to. I expect them to go out and try and live life. I expect that they will find places where they fail in life because I failed, just like you. But what I do believe is that the more you live this new man, the more that you live this man who you are setting the course to become, the more that you invest in that man, whether you're getting accolades, praises, affirmations, attaboys, or whatever, the more you do it, the more momentum you will build in becoming him. And yes, it will feel like the road is lonely sometimes. I'm not sure who I'm speaking to, but you know who I'm speaking to. It's not by accident that you're here and you're listening to this program. I can sit here and say these things because I live them. They're a product of who I've become. And I have Jesus to thank for that, because he has a good and perfect will for us all. And my heart is to seek that and honor that and to allow that to be my legacy. But we have to go out and we have to do the work. So I invite you to come and to do that work. If you do not know Jesus as the Messiah as your Lord and Savior, please email me. Let's connect. And I will welcome you into the family of Christ. If you are a believer, but you've lost your way, let's connect. I want to encourage you in your faith. And if you're a man that is looking to get on this path of legacy on purpose, email me, because I'm here to help you. Quincy at Manvsmarriagepodcast.com. That's all I got for you right now. Way off script. Maybe I should actually do this show next and be on script. I know, I jest. Anyway, fellas, thank you so much for listening. If you would, will you please, if this show speaks to your heart, will you pick out 5 guys to send this to? Pick out some guys to send this to that you believe can help. And you can build your own group. You guys can follow the podcast. We can get together on the web. We can talk through what's going on. And I would be happy to help you that way. God bless you. My name is Quincy Moran, a.k.a. the Q Dog. And this is Man vs. Marriage, the podcast.